because I didn't record. All right. So first thing that you're going to do is get it equal to 0. So remember, I talked about that yesterday. How you do that is you move it to the other side. And when you move across the equal mark, you just change the sign. All right, then. Everybody good? The second thing we need to figure out is how many terms it has. If it's 2 terms, it's either GCF or it's pairs and share. If it's 3 terms, it's either cheater or slide and divide. And we haven't had any 4 terms, so we're probably not going to. But if it's 4 terms, remember you put it in the reverse box. Okay, make sure that when you factor, you always take out the GCF. In this one, there's not a GCF. We're going to break it down. Remember, if it's 2 terms, we're going to break it down anyway. 9 is 3 and 3, y and y. I have a minus 16 is 4 and 4. And don't break it down anymore. Don't keep breaking it down to 2s because why? I already see pairs. Does everybody see all those pairs? So there's no point in doing extra work is what I'm telling you. So I see that this is not GCF, but it is pairs and share. So I'm going to rewrite. I'm going to share a 3y in the front and a 4 in the back. One is positive, one is negative. So we already knew how to do that from last week. Okay, we did that a lot. The new stuff is that it's equal to 0, and now we just have to find the answer. Where did I tell you this 3 came from? Why do we have a 3 in the front? Where can I put it? Because it was a slide and divide. So I can put it to the back so I can be a little bit lazier. Does that make sense? You can solve it out if you want to. I saw a couple. I think Natalie solved hers all out yesterday, which is perfectly fine, setting them equal to 0 and solving them. But I'm trying to help you skip a step is what I'm doing. So a little bit less work. So instead of a positive 4/3, remember we changed the sign and your answer is going to be a negative 4/3. Same thing here. I'm going to put this 3 underneath. Instead of a negative 4/3, our answer is going to be positive 4/3. If it's pairs and share, one is going to be positive, one is going to be negative. Any questions? So there's 2 terms, pairs and share. I'm going to show you 2 terms, GCF. Okay, so why does it look different? I'll show you. Your second equation that we're going to solve is going to be m squared equals 11m. Our first step is to get it equal to 0. So I'm going to move that 11m over. The way I move it over is I change the sign to negative. Anytime we have 2 terms, we break it down. 11 will not break down. So I have mm and 11m. Not pairs, but it does have a GCF. What's your GCF? M. So I'm going to take the m out. And that leaves m minus 11. You literally write down what you see, guys. M minus 11. Remember yesterday, I said if you take a letter out, it's just going to give you 0 anyway. So if I set it equal to 0, it's just going to give me 0. So there's your first answer. We have a minus 11 as our factor. So what is our answer going to be? Positive 11. We just changed the sign. That's it. Okay. And again, you did this yesterday. You had a lot of talking, a lot of socialization. That's probably why a lot of you didn't get done. It's not that you were struggling too much with it. You were asking the good questions, but in between those good questions, it was the room that we were in, okay? Being somewhere different. All right, number 3. I'm going to show you a 3-term cheater method, So x squared plus 4x equals 5. Okay. I need to get it to equal 0, so I'm going to move the 5 over. Remember, this 5 goes behind everything. It's the last thing that we're going to put in there. So the way we move it over, we write what we had, x squared plus 4x, and we're going to change the sign to a negative 5. We know it's cheater method because there's no number in front. So I want factors of the last, a negative 5. That add to 4. You guys are really good at this, okay? Put it in your calculator. I don't think you have a problem with how to do this. Those two factors are going to be 5 and negative 1. Some of you were catching on that you didn't even have to write this part right here. You knew that once you got 5 and negative 1, your answers are going to be the opposite signs. So this first one gives you a negative 5, and the second one gives you a positive 1. So that's cheater method. I'm going to give you one more cheater method. So u squared minus 8 equals 7u. U squared minus 8 equals 7u. We're going to move that 7u over, but it has to go in the middle. Okay, so it has to go in the middle. So u squared, when we move the 7u, it becomes a negative 7u. But we keep the negative 8 or the minus 8. Do not change that one. Only change the one that you move. We're going to find factors of the last, negative 8, that add to negative 7. You know how to do that in your calculator. I'm going to go ahead and tell you they're negative 8 and positive 1. So u minus 8 and u plus 1 is your factor. Your new stuff is you just change the sign. Instead of a negative 8, your answer is going to be positive 8. And instead of positive 1, your answer is going to be negative 1. Any questions on cheater method? Everybody good? All right. So then we're going to do a couple slide and divide because I think those are the ones you had the most trouble with yesterday. So I think you were okay with these and switching those signs. That was pretty easy. With the slide and divide is what you had a little bit of trouble with. Give me a second to write this down. I got to flip my paper. You good? Everybody else okay? All right. All right. Let me find one. 3y squared plus 14y equals 5. The 5 is on the wrong side, so we need to move it over. We get 3y squared plus 14y minus 5 equals 0. Yesterday, you pulled out GCFs, and a lot of them made it cheater method once you pulled that GCF out, okay? So this one, to tell if you have a GCF, I would try to divide everything by 3, and you know it won't. Or just to the side, break it down. So 3y, 14 is 2 and 7 and y, and 5 is 5 and 1. Is there, and I just usually do this on like a little scrap sheet of paper, just write it down and move on. Okay, do you see anything in common? No. So you already know there's no GCF. We're just going to go straight slide and divide. Okay, so we're going to slide it over. We get y squared plus 14y. Multiply these. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. What that does is it makes it cheater method. So we're going to do factors of the last that add to the middle. Again, you're very good at that. I'm going to go ahead and tell you those factors are 15 and -1. So we have y plus 15 and y minus 1. The only difference in this and the ones that we just did is you have to remember to divide. Okay, so what did we slide? The 3. So that's what we divide. So some of you are asking yesterday, what do we divide, Miss Jones? What'd you slide? That's why it's called slide and divide. We're going to put these in our calculator. I told you 15 divide 3, math, enter. It changed to a positive 5. So what's your answer going to be? -5. So there's your first one. And you can do them separate. There's no worry in that. We're going to try 1/3. It doesn't reduce. So our factor is a -1/3. So what's our answer?
-1/3.
It already is -1/3.
Oh, no. So it's 1/3.
Just positive 1/3. Again, just change the signs. It's okay. Savannah, you got this? Don't go to sleep. I trust you. So we're good. All right, let's do another one. We have 2x squared plus 10 equals 9x. We need to move the 9, and it needs to go in the middle. It's a positive 9, so when I move it across, I change it to -9. Leave the 10 alone. Leave the 10 alone. It did not move. We just changed places. Okay, pushed it to the back. Over to the side, I can do a quick breakdown. 2xx. 9 is 3 and 3 and x. And 10 is 2 and 5. Do you see anything in common? No, this one doesn't have a GCF, so it's just straight slide and divide. So slide my 2 over. So x squared minus 9x. What's 2 times 10? 20. That means I need factors of 20 that add to -9. Factors of 20 to add to -9. What kind of 5 and what kind of 4? You are correct. The numbers are right. The signs are incorrect. -5 and -4. Very good. So we're going to have x and a -5, x and a -4. But I got to remember I did slide, so now I have to and divide by 2, the very first number. Whatever that first number is what we're going to divide every single time. We're going to put it into our calculator. 5 divide 2, math, enter. It did not change. So if I have a -5/2, what is my answer? +5/2. That's your first one. I'm going to do 4 over 2, math, enter, and I get 2. So this changes into x minus 2. If my factor is -2, what is my answer? A +2. That's it. If you guys can do the cheater method, you should be able to do slide and divide because it's only one more step. Okay, it's only one more thing. Everybody okay? All right, I'm gonna do one more of those with you and then I'll let you do your quiz. So one more. I'll even make it easier and go ahead and solve it for 0. So that's one less thing you have to do. So 3y squared plus 14y minus 5 equals 0. I will tell you there is no GCF. So what's my first step? Say it again. It's already equal to 0. I don't have to do anything. What do you do? We just did 2, y'all. We just did 2. What do? Look at each one of them. Slide that first number over. Y squared plus 14y, what's 3 times negative 5? Negative 15. It's cheater method. Factors of the last that add to the middle. We already did these one time. If you guys look, I showed you up here, negative 15 that add to 14. So those were 15 and negative 1. So y plus 15, y minus 1. I'm doing slide and divide, so what do I have to do next? Divide, and what am I dividing by? 3, that number in front. Perfect. In our calculator, 15 divide 3. Math, enter gives me 5. So this is actually y plus 5. So what's my answer if it's y plus 5? Negative 5. Good job. On the other one, 1 divide 3. Math, enter. Still gives me 1/3. So if my factor is a negative 1/3, what's my answer going to be? Positive 1/3. That's it. Any questions? Is everybody good? You have examples. Keep the notes out while you're doing your work and compare them. Does everybody understand? All right. I'm going to stop sharing, stop recording.